He called our child defective. Now he wants backing. Okay, buckle up, buttercups. Because this is a wild ride. You won't believe what my ex just pulled. Years ago, my hubby bailed on me after we found out about our baby's potential health issues. His exact words: "I don't need a defective child." Can you believe the audacity? Let me rewind a bit to how this whole mess began. I had been with Rob for quite a while. We actually met back in college. But honestly, something always felt missing. We tried for years to get pregnant, but nothing seemed to work. Our arguments became more frequent, and the future started to look pretty bleak. Then, one regular Wednesday morning, everything changed. I woke up feeling a little queasy, just brushing it off as something I ate. But then, the realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I had missed my period. Could it actually be? Without wasting a single second, I grabbed a pregnancy test and went for it. Waiting for the results felt like an eternity. When I finally dared to look, my heart practically leaped out of my chest. We were pregnant. Pure joy, excitement, and a healthy dose of fear all swelled inside me. I had to tell Rob. He was in the living room, engrossed in some paperwork as usual. Taking a deep breath, I walked up to him, the test still clutched in my hand. I tried to keep my voice steady as I said, "I'm pregnant." He looked up, his expression unreadable. Then he said, "Are you sure? I mean, at this age, is it even safe?" I was immediately deflated. This wasn't the reaction that I had been dreaming of. I took the test. "Rob, it's positive," I exclaimed, feeling a bit hurt. "Anna, you know how hard it's been. And now, at 37, do you know the risks?" He countered, looking worried. "I thought you'd be happy," I whispered, my voice cracking. I'm worried about you, about us." He hesitated. "We can't let fear dictate our happiness now," I retorted, hoping to change his mind. He looked down, avoiding my gaze. "Have you considered maybe not going through with it?" I couldn't believe my ears. He wanted me to terminate the pregnancy. "No, Rob." We sat in silence for a while, the air thick with unspoken disappointment. I so desperately wanted him to be as overjoyed as I was. But at that moment, I hoped that our child would bring us closer together, that our love was strong enough to overcome any challenge, and that we would have a future worth fighting for. All felt like a distant memory. The next few months were incredibly tough. As the days turned into weeks, I was constantly sick. I felt nauseated and exhausted all the time. One day, after feeling particularly weak, I collapsed. I faintly heard Rob asking Dr. Mitchell, "Is she going to be okay? She needs rest. Her body is under a lot of strain due to the pregnancy. It's imperative that she stays relaxed and avoids any stress." Dr. Mitchell replied, his voice measured and serious. That hospital stay was just the first of many. Sometimes I'd even end up arguing with the billing department. One evening, as I lay in the hospital bed, Rob walked in with a weary look on his face. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "I met with Dr. Mitchell," he began, his voice heavy. "He said we need to consider the possibility of bed rest for the remainder of the pregnancy. If it's best for the baby, I'll do it," I said, squeezing his hand, trying to reassure him. "I wish I could do more to help," he muttered, and my heart broke a little. "You're here with me. That's more than enough," I told him. However, as the days went by, Rob's visits became less and less frequent. Sometimes he'd call, but other times he'd just send a text saying he was caught up with work. During one of my longer hospital stays, I was feeling particularly low, just missing the comfort of my home. I asked the nurse if I could use the phone to call Rob. "It's been 3 days," I said, trying to keep the tremor out of my voice when he answered. "You haven't visited." "I know, Anna, I'm just as hard for me, seeing you like this," he admitted, the honesty somehow making it worse. "Rob, I need you now more than ever," I pleaded, my voice barely a whisper. Silence. Then, finally, "I'll try to come by tomorrow," he said. Feeling isolated and alone, I spoke to a friendly nurse, Lisa, about the situation. "He's probably just scared," she said, trying to comfort me. Sometimes when people can't handle situations. One morning, after a particularly difficult night, Dr. Mitchell came into my room. "I think it's time we discuss the birth plan," he began cautiously. "Anna, there are some decisions to be made." Despite his absences, Rob actually showed up for that discussion. We sat there, both filled with a mix of fear and apprehension. But I desperately held on to hope, praying for the strength to make the right choices. Little did I know what was about to happen next. The first moments of holding my daughter, Emma, in my arms were pure bliss. But that dream was quickly shattered by Dr. Mitchell's grim announcement. "Anna, Rob," he began with a heavy sigh, "there are some concerns regarding Emma's health." "What are you talking about?" Rob practically barked as he walked into the room, a storm brewing in his eyes. He looked at me, then at Emma, and took a deep breath. "Anna," he started, his voice shaking. "How could you do this, giving birth at this age?" Tears welled up in my eyes. "Rob, I thought we wanted this. I thought we wanted a family." He was nearly shouting now. "You should have considered an abortion. Why bring a child into the world with so many complications? Because of your selfishness." I was utterly shocked. "Rob, she's our daughter. We should be together in this, not pointing fingers. His face was red with anger. I can't believe I am in this situation. I can't raise a child with potential disabilities. It's not the life I imagined. So what are you saying? I asked hesitantly. Rob hesitated for a moment, then blurted out, I don't think I can do this. I can't be here not like this. It felt like the floor had been pulled from beneath me. You're abandoning your daughter because she might be different. He didn't respond. Instead, he turned and walked away, leaving me with our newborn daughter, grappling with the uncertainty of our future. He left. The first few weeks after Rob left were the absolute hardest. The house felt empty. The silence was deafening, and the reality of being a single mother weighed heavily on me. I felt a surge of determination. I was going to make sure Emma had the best life possible, no matter what it took. My sister, Linda, was a godsend during this time. She came over often, helping with household chores and just being there for me. One evening, as I was feeding Emma, Linda walked in holding 2 mugs of hot cocoa. Anna, she began gently, you need to think about the future. Have you considered finding a place of your own? I hadn't really thought about it. Linda took my hand. I know this house will always remind you of Rob and everything that happened. You both deserve a fresh start. She was right. I needed to let go of the past and focus on building a new life for Emma and me. The search for a new place wasn't easy. With my limited savings and no job, options were limited. But then, one day, Linda called me excitedly. Anna, you won't believe what I found. There's a small house for rent in my neighborhood. It's perfect for you and Emma. I couldn't wait to see the house the very next day. The landlord, Mrs. Peterson, was a kind elderly lady who lived next door. Linda speaks very highly of you, Mrs. Peterson said, smiling warmly. The place is yours if you want it. I felt tears of gratitude welling up. Thank you, Mrs. Peterson. This means so much to me. This was it. This was going to be our home, our sanctuary. Linda helped me move in and get settled. How's it going in here? She asked, looking around. I smiled, hugging her close. It's perfect. I can't thank you enough. She hugged us both back. That's what family is for. You're not alone in this, Anna. Remember that. Visits to the local park and coffee dates with Linda became our new normal. One day, Mrs. Peterson walked over, holding a tray of freshly baked cookies. I thought you two could use a treat, she said, smiling. I smiled back, taking a cookie. Thank you, Mrs. Peterson. It's delicious. Call me Kelly, she said. Feels strange being called Mrs. Peterson by my new neighbor. Kelly shared stories of her own children, offering advice and wisdom. I felt a connection, a sense of community that had been missing for so long. As the days went by, the pain of the past began to fade. Emma's first birthday was just around the corner, and I was deep in preparations. Kelly and Linda offered their assistance, throwing out ideas for decorations and games. I found myself reflecting on the whirlwind of the past year. My baby girl, Emma, was blossoming into a bubbly, inquisitive child. Then one afternoon, the phone rang. Hello, I answered hesitantly. Hello, Anna, came a familiar voice. I felt a twinge of anxiety. Dr. Mitchell, is there a problem? He hesitated. Anna, I need you to come to the hospital. There's something about Emma we need to discuss. I felt my heart in my throat. Is she okay? His voice was thick with regret. Please come in. We need to talk face to face. Linda agreed to watch Emma while I rushed to the hospital. The drive felt much longer than it actually was, and my mind raced with worst case scenarios. Anna, I'm so sorry to call you in this way, Doctor. Mitchell started when I arrived. My patience was thinning. What's going on? Taking a deep breath, he began. There's been a terrible error. The initial test we ran on Emma after her birth got mixed up with another baby's. My confusion grew. Meaning? He met my gaze, his eyes filled with regret. Emma is healthy, Anna. She doesn't have any medical condition. I can't express how deeply sorry I am. The weight of his words hit me hard. You mean to tell me I've lived this past year under false assumptions? My life turned upside down because of this mistake. His voice was barely above a whisper. Yes, and it's my responsibility. I can't begin to fathom the pain this has caused. I took a moment to collect my thoughts. I need time to process this. Driving home, the mix of relief and fury consumed me. Yet, seeing Emma's joyful face as I walked in grounded me. She was my world. That night, Linda and I sat down, and I relayed everything. She was horrified. Anna, what are you going to do? She asked, looking at Emma peacefully sleeping in her crib. For now, nothing, I said quietly. He made his choice. Linda squeezed my hand. You're strong, Anna. Remember, you're not alone in this. The revelation about Emma's health was bittersweet, but one thing was for sure. I would protect and cherish her, regardless of the past. The swift passage of time amazed me. My feelings were a whirlwind of pride and hope. One morning at breakfast, Emma was shimmering with anticipation. Mom, will I be going to school like other kids? She asked. I smiled warmly. Yes, honey. Her face lit up. Will I find friends there? Will they like me? Touched by her innocence, I assured her, Emma, you're such a lovely girl. Of course they'll adore you. On her first day, dressed in her new school uniform with a pink backpack hanging from her shoulders, Emma paused at the school gates. With a quiver in her voice, she admitted, Mommy, I'm nervous. Honey, always remember to be yourself. I told her, squeezing her hand. Just give it some time. Her small hand waved goodbye as she joined the bustling crowd of students. I watched her until she was out of sight, my heart heavy with the typical worries of a parent. A few weeks later, Emma was all excitement and stories about her new friend, Sophia. One day, she bounced home asking, "Mom, can Sophia come over tomorrow?" "Absolutely, I'm eager to meet your new buddy," I replied. The next afternoon was filled with their giggles and playful shouts. From the corner of my eye, as the sun dipped low, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Emma holding Sophia's hand, talking to Rob and a young woman, presumably his new wife. They were directly in front of my shop. "Emma," Rob exclaimed. Sophia, sensing the tension, innocently chirped, "Daddy, I had so much fun. Emma is my best friend." "Sophia, we've talked about this," Rob said, his voice tight. "You shouldn't play with inferior children." I felt a rush of anger. Before I could retort, the young woman chimed in, "Let's go home, Rob." Emma stared at me, her eyes filled with confusion and hurt. As the car drove away, I hugged her tight. "You're wonderful just the way you are," I whispered. I'd always protect her from the cruel judgments of the world. Only days after the incident, my phone rang. I hesitated before answering. "Hello," I said cautiously. A woman's voice, soft yet firm, responded. "Hi, this is Emily, Sophia's mother. Can we talk?" Surprised, I replied cautiously, "Of course. What's on your mind?" She hesitated. "I'd rather discuss this face to face. Can we meet tomorrow? There's a cafe around the corner from your house." "All right, see you at 10 o'clock, I said, feeling a knot of anxiety tighten in my stomach. The next morning, I saw Emily waiting at the cafe. She looked out of place, her pristine appearance contrasting with the laid-back vibe of the cafe. Offering a polite smile, I sat down. "Thank you for coming," she began, her voice tinged with nervousness. "After the other day, I couldn't shake off a nagging feeling that there's more to the story, and Rob has told me." I took a deep breath. I'm not one to spread tales, but since Sophia is involved, I think you should know. She leaned forward, anticipation evident in her eyes. "Please tell me everything." Over the next hour, I unfolded our story. How Rob and I had struggled with fertility, my unexpected pregnancy, his disinterest, a misdiagnosis, and finally, him leaving us. I made sure to be factual, not letting emotion color the narrative. Emily sat in stern silence. "He never told me any of this. He said you were the one who left him," she said, looking defeated. "I feel like such a fool. I thought our love was genuine, but now it seems like he was just replacing one life with another." "Emily," I started, my tone firm, "it's not about him anymore. It's about Sophia and Emma. They formed a bond, and I don't want Emma to suffer because of our past." "I completely agree," Emily replied, her voice determined. As we parted, I felt a weight lift. For the first time, I felt like I was truly free from Rob's shadow, having laid our past bare. That evening, as Emma played with her toys, she looked up at me, her brow furrowed. "Mom, will I see Sophia again?" she asked. Smiling, I said, "Yes, sweetie, you will. And always remember, your past doesn't define your future. You do." My phone buzzed on the coffee table, startling me from my thoughts. It was a name I hadn't expected to see in a long time. "Rob." Hesitating for only a moment, I answered. "Anna," he said, his voice laced with anger. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "What are you talking about?" I retorted. "Emily left me," he spat out bitterly. "She filed for divorce, and she's taken everything. I've lost almost everything, Anna, and it's all because she spoke to you." I could hardly believe what I was hearing. "Rob, you made your choices." I just told her the truth. There was a heavy pause. "You never told me," he whispered, his voice laced with sadness. "Why would I? After everything you said, after everything you did, you didn't deserve to know," I retorted. He sounded almost pleading. "Anna, I made a mistake. I realize that now. I want to be there for Emma. I want to be there for you. We can be a family again." I scoffed in disbelief. "You're unbelievable. Anna, I know I messed up. Please, give me a chance." I could feel anger rising in me. "Now that your little fairy tale with Emily has ended, you think you can just waltz back into our lives? Think again." He sounded desperate now. "I was wrong, Anna. I see that now. Can't you give me another chance? Emma and I have moved on. We're doing just fine without you, and we don't need or want you in our lives." I fired back. "Anna," I ended the call, my heart racing. I took a deep breath, letting the emotions wash over me. Emma and I had each other, and that was all that mattered. I wouldn't let Rob's selfishness disrupt our peace. Whatever challenges lay ahead, we'd face them together. So, Reddit, after hearing all of this, do you think I handled the situation correctly? Was I right to cut him out of our lives completely, or should I have given him another chance for Emma's sake? I'm really torn and could use some outside perspective. So please let me know what you think.